Hey guys and gals, I got another one for you today. Today I'm back in the Udes Tier 8 Tech Tree Medium Swedish tank, and this is my very first battle on it. And no, it's not stock. I had some free XP, so I free XP'd up to the 90mm gun package. And then my first battle was on Ensk, which does not feature this thing's gun depression, obviously. So this T1 Heavy is just throwing his tank away. We're going to help him get back to the garage. My Leo blocks my shot there. Now looking at Ensk, I always like to make sure that I push the 1, 2, 3 line. There are times where I go to the field, but generally that's only if I'm like in a scout and I have people shooting for me, so I'll just get them spotted and try to keep them stationary. Now one thing you may notice is the siege mode on this, how often it changes from into siege mode and out of siege mode. Well, the siege mode on the medium tank is not pressed by a button, so I'm not clicking the button over and over. It actually just goes by the speed of the tank, and if you go over 20 kilometers an hour, then it will leave siege mode. Is it 20? It might be 10. I'll get back to you on that, or if anybody knows for sure, just throw it in the comments. That'd be greatly appreciated. Someday I'll do my homework before I make a video for you guys. So looking for a shot in the IS-3. Let's get a shot into his cheek. Now the 90mm uses heat, which has good enough penetration at tier 8. So if you like a higher DPM fast gun, you probably would enjoy the 90mm. The 105, like I talked about in yesterday's video, is higher alpha. It doesn't come with the Hesh rounds that the Draugen does, which I think is okay. It'd be cool if it did, but this thing's got a lot going for it. What it doesn't have going for it is DPM. I don't know if you follow the PC, but a lot of people just think if we don't get the exact version of the tank from PC, then it's a nerf. However, in my opinion, the game, or our game, has different meta. We have less armor, we have less DPM, we have less foliage in different maps. It plays differently than PC. So for tanks to come in with full DPM like on PC, that would in my mind just be crazy. So far I finished this tank up yesterday and I really enjoyed it. It's not a DPM monster. Even if you run the 90mm on there, you're just chipping away. As a high tier tank with the 90mm, you know, the DPM is probably just fine. However, if you're going to fight tier 10s, the DPM isn't really good enough to sit and circle a heavy tank or anything. Now, we already used the repair kit, so we're going to have to play the rest of this game ammo racked, and unfortunately it's a close game even though I have 5 kills. So it's 11-10. I really just don't want to throw my tank away here. See if we can find a shot in the Leo. Leo looks like he's going to push in on me, get him killed. The Knight's coming, but I don't think that he's actually going to come around. So I look for a shot in the medium, and sure enough, the Knight throws his tank away and kills me. I mean, he had to ram a tier 8 and get a kill, so maybe that wasn't the worst thing for him. We'll see if it costs him the win in the end. And got a full health Ferdy that was back at base. CLC even 90 is ammo racked on low health. Got our medium fighting those two. And our medium's dead, and their tank kills our other Udes. So just like that, we're in a 2v2. We have a Ferdinand and Vanguard. They have a turtle and a Udes. I'm not really too thrilled about our chances here, especially since they're so split up right now. But the Ferdinand pushes on the Udes, misses his first shot, and now he has to out-traverse the Udes. Thankfully, he keeps his butt to the wall. I think the Vanguard actually tracked the Udes there, so good work by him. This turtle's driving into a crossfire. Hopefully the Ferdy can get him. Sure enough, he does. It's going to be a one-shot for either of them now. But the Vanguard is potentially a one-shot for the turtle if the turtle pens him with an HE or shoots a heat round and just doesn't like get a crit. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit. They're going to chase the turtle around. It's interesting just how they play this. The Vanguard is kind of staying close to the Ferdinand, which is clutch because obviously if the turtle if they can evade a shot from the turtle into the Ferdinand, then the Vanguard's going to be able to jump on the turtle. The turtle does not have a great reload since he's got the big HE gun. Now, what would I do if I was the turtle? It's a good question. I think I'd like to stay around like 5 line, maybe B9, get on a high ground in the bush and just see if they come across the AB line. Alternately, maybe go south and try to watch the spawn, but it's not a real good line of sight from back there in my opinion. So the Vanguard's making little runs in front of the Ferdinand, see if he can spot him. The turtle has to be thinking, if I can kill this Vanguard, I'll be able to at least go one-on-one with the Ferdinand. So the Ferdy decides to cap, and the Vanguard goes hunting. And I'm pretty confident we won either way here just because the Ferdinand is up against the edge of the map. Now if he was parked in the middle, I'd be a little bit more worried. He could get out traversed by the turtle, but they pull it down for the win, and they don't let my 7 kills go in vain. Unfortunately, that knight threw it. Maybe could have picked up another one. Got a Radley Walter. That would have been really cool. Radley Walter in my first ever game in the Udes. Take top dog. Not the most impressive. 1500 XP base. That's alright. For the first game, it's definitely... I'll take it all day long. 7 kills, 2300 damage. It's good enough for me. Alright. Second match is going to be a little bit more of... Well, not that that wasn't a nail biter, but I wasn't participating, so I was just sitting on the sidelines. If you want to pause at any point, you can look at all the stats from the other Udes that were on top. Alright, you can see I'm using the ×4 crew XP boost because my 4, it's got 4 perks. And yes, the perk is not... So I have 5 skills on this driver. It was not 100%. I think this game was the one that put him over 100%. But I have ×4 XP or crew boost, and then I have a ×5 XP boost, so I could get through. Really, I don't have any other tanks to use the XP boosters on, so I might as well just use it. And my crew has Brothers in Arms, Recon, Camo, Situational Awareness, Snapshot, Smooth Ride. Just because the gun handling is not the greatest on these tanks, so to me, my combat capacity is so important, especially with a low DPM gun. I want to be able to aim that reticle as fast as I can, even if it's got bad accuracy. I don't want to make the accuracy any worse, and I want to be able to hit my shots on the move. Now the 105, the big difference to me from the 105 to the 90 is their turret dispersion. So how much it blooms out when you turn the turret. And with the 105, it's really not apparent. With the 90 mil, you can feel it, and that's with my 2 crew boosts on there. I'm also running coffee. And it starts off pretty boring, but I know they have a ton of tanks on the A line, so I'm waiting for them to make a play, but they see that we have a lot of tanks kind of up in the C area, so they don't really want to cross that open field. I can't blame them. So our scout makes an interesting play. He pushes all the way into D6. That's pretty bold. The fact that he got to do that and then just back up makes me really want to go just like farm them in the side, since they're not aware of their surroundings. But I feel like my team's doing a great job as far as not pushing too far too early. A lot of the times you'll see, it's generally when you're on this side of the map, the south will just push out into 890, and then for some reason they don't go up the 890. They'll actually just funnel back into what we call the shed of shame, which is in the middle of the map, and they'll kind of line up around the shed of shame as the red team funnels down the 890, farms them guys out, and then the north will push and they'll farm them too. So it's kind of like a seesaw of death. Alright, so you see our team just destroys 4 reds pretty quick here, and I'm getting antsy, chomping at the bit. But like I said, with the big gun, you definitely aren't going to win DPM battles, so you have to take your shots, you have to aim, you got to be ready, you got to be set up in the right position, and I'm trying to use my gun depression. 12 degrees with the siege mode. There's no medium that outclasses that. That's the most gun depression you can get out of a medium tank. Alright, so we got a Black Prince here, we got our Scout here, and they still have a lot of tanks up here. So I'm going to abandon Black Prince. Unfortunately, I just feel like we need to push out the south, win that, and then we can turn around and defend. But if we lose the north without winning the south, then we're going to be in big trouble. So I'm going to see if I have shots here. You guys are probably like, this is really your game that you aced it. It's one of those games where you don't participate and you let your team die, and then you end up having to pick up the pieces. Whereas if you just participated in the beginning, maybe you wouldn't have been put in that position in the first place. It was like a Progetto battle that I showed a little while ago. Alright, so we're looking around, and it doesn't look like I really have shots on anything, which is pretty frustrating. But I noticed that there's a medium that's going to all-in our scout. So I'm going to go see if I can get him some help. And if he baits the medium in, then maybe we can isolate him. Alright, so our motherland goes down. Now I didn't accomplish what I set to achieve, and I left the 890 without winning it. And sure enough, this part pays off. The medium does chase. He did have heavy support, so I can't blame him too much. He probably didn't anticipate me being here, obviously. And then their T10 sitting right here, get a nice shot right up his butt. And then gonna look for another shot. He runs into the side of the shed, and he gets a shot off, but he gets tracked. We're able to put him down. Now, red team can't make much progress in the south because we have a T95 up there, and he is in a pretty decent location. He can see out the left and the right side from where he's at. Catch an ISM. It seemed like he was just a little too slow to get to the battle. Now we're going to punish him for it. Centurion takes him out, and we take the lead. So, though I sat around and did nothing, I conserved my hit points and got through that situation fairly well. We're up to 1400 damage, 200 assisted, 2 kills, and our arty takes out the challenger. So there's only 4 tanks left. Full health T-54, well, he just took a shot. Our T-95 is pushing through the shed of shame, and he's just exposing himself to their Udes. And I'm going to look for a shot on the Udes. I really don't see one, so not sure. I mean, obviously he was there when he had the T-95. So what I want to do is be careful with this T-54. I'm not sure where their heavy is at. I believe they still have a KV-5 that's alive. I realize the T-54 is not looking at me. I overdrive that shot and I shoot into his drive wheel. At least I get a crit. And I think he used a repair kit there, which is fine with me. Now the T-95, in my opinion, should just push on this T-54, but he decides that that's not a good idea. So I'll trade a few shots with him, just keep my T-95 alive. He's got heat loaded, shoots in the T-95 shell, and he's doing a good job of wiggling. That tank is kind of trolly. You bounce off of it, so to stay wiggling obviously makes your armor a little bit more effective. Now the T-95 exposes his side to the KV-5, and he takes out the T-54, which is, I think, a good trade. Hopefully we won't have to trade at all and we can get this KV-5 dead. Waiting for a shot. The KV-5 decides that he wants to shoot at me instead of the T-95. Go out there while I'm spotted, but I don't have 6th sense, so I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that. I was just fighting KV-5 1 second ago. And I would like to say that I baited the Udes shot, but I didn't really anticipate him shooting at me. I was just seeing if I was clear to go there. I'm not sure what gun he has. If he has the big gun, I could have maybe made a move on him when he shot. As I come up, I miss my shot. He misses his shot. So I'm thinking what I want to do is close the distance now, especially since my medium is starting to go to the 0 line. We still have arty, so I want to be careful of that as well. However, our Centurion takes out arty, so I'm going to try to make sure that he can't get my artillery. And so we got a shot on him, but I don't want to have to reload here. He pulls the trigger, hits the little shed that's in between us, and I realize that my Centurion is a 1-shot, so I really need to get in there. 1 shot if he's got the big gun, I should say. Centurion lands a shot, I come over, land a shot, leave him on 12 hit points, and he avoids getting rammed, gets a shot into the 7-1, but I'm going to be reloaded. He looks like he's trying to get me to bounce off his front deck, and I aim my shot to make sure that I don't bounce off that. And he has an as impressive round, or maybe better than mine, but he doesn't get the victory. And, you know, to me, you could argue that he pretty much did as much as me. He sat back and sniped in the hills, which would be a Udes' strength, right? So, like, brawling is not the strength. Using the ridge lines, using that 12 degrees of gun depression, getting those shots out is the Udes' strength. It's kind of a specialty tank. I don't think a lot of newer players that are inexperienced are going to have fun with this tank. It's paper thin. You are going to get some troll bounces when you're using the armor correctly, but like I said, does not have a lot of DPM, it doesn't have a lot of armor, and it just doesn't have a lot of appeal for Unicum stat patters or newer players that are trying to learn the game. It's probably more of an advanced tank and catered to someone that like wants a more difficult tank to play. So feel free to pause, look at the stats. Shot 50 shots, penned 20 of them, so he was using the small gun. But I'll quit babbling. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.